Welcome to our YouTube channel. Okay, this is a channel where we treat mathematics topic like our traditional classes. Okay, so today's class we are dealing with uh, completing the square method, which is the second method in solving a quadratic equation. Okay, now the method of completing the square method and the steps of deriving the quadratic formula are actually the same thing. Okay, so today we are going to look at these steps of deriving the quadratic formula, which is also the same way of solving a quadratic formula using the completing the square method. Okay, so let us start. Given that as squared plus bs plus c equals to 0, such that a not equal to 0, we know that this is the blueprint of our quadratic equation. Okay, this is how we expect our quadratic equation to be, that the coefficient of s squared should not be equal to 0. Okay, so what are the steps? Let's start with step 1. The first thing to do is to transfer our constant. Okay, of course, in an equation, we have the left-hand side and we have the right-hand side. Okay, so we are going to take our constant to the right-hand side because we just have to have these two terms left. So transfer the constant C to the right hand side. So I will be writing it in words, then I will do it mathematically. Okay, so transfer the constant c to the right hand side. So that will give you, that is as squared plus bs equals to, of course, when a positive cross over the equality sign, it will become a negative number. Okay, so it's positive, it have crossed over the equality sign, we have it now as a what? A negative number. So the step 2 is to divide through by the coefficient of s squared, that is a. So we are going to divide all this by a. It means that we are going to divide this by a, divide this by a, divide this by a. So let's do that here. So that will give us, that is as squared over a plus bs over a equals to minus c over a. So this and this will go, okay? So I will have s squared plus b over ax equals to c over a minus c over a. So this is what we have after step 2, okay? Now step 3 is where we complete the square. So step 3 is to make the left hand side a perfect square, and okay, by adding the square half of coefficient of x. That is coefficient of x in what we have in step 2. Okay, let's write it in step 2. So the coefficient we have in step 2 is b over a. Now see what this step 3 is saying. It says that we should make the LCM and the left hand side, which is this part, this is our left hand side, okay, which is this, okay, a perfect square by adding, let's correct that, the square half of coefficient of x. Okay, in step 2, that is this, both sides. Okay, both sides. So we are going to do that. We are going to get the square half of the coefficient of s, and we add it to the left hand side, and we also add it to the what? The right hand side. So let's do that here. So that will give us square half means 1 over 2 of b over a all square. So that will give us b over 2a all square. So this is what we are going to add both sides. So let's do that. Let's add it here. So that will give us, therefore, s square plus b over ax plus b over 2a all square equals to what we have there before is c minus c over a, or we can write this one first. So we have b over 2a square minus c over a. So we have added it both sides. Okay, so this is what we need to add to the left hand side to make it a perfect square. Okay, to make it a perfect square. So we have added it both sides. So the next step is for us to factorize this and what? Simplify this. So step 4, factorize the left hand side and simplify the right hand side. Okay, so we need to factorize the left hand side and we need to simplify the right hand side, and it's a very simple thing to do. Okay, I don't want us to start the process of factorization in the left hand side. Okay, but there's a simple thing to do. Pick the variable you have. Okay, so in our case we have the variable x. Pick the variable x, then come here and pick what you have inside this place. Okay, what you have inside here, when you have taken the square half, what you have inside that bracket of your square half, that is what you are going to have. So this is positive b over 2a. So you add it here, b over 2a all square. When you factorize this using factorization method, this is what you are going to have. Okay, so you can just go and try multiplying this or expanding this one and see whether you will have this. Okay, so when you try that, if you don't get the same thing, you can just let me know at the comment section. I will attend to you. Then simplify this. Simplifying this part, you need to open this bracket here. Okay, when you open this bracket, you take LCM. We have done that in our past videos. You take the LCM and simplify it. So that will give you b square over 4a square, because each of these will take the squares. Okay, b square will affect b, square will affect 2, and square will affect what? A. So b square will give you b square, 2 square will give you 4, and a square will give you, of course, a square. So minus c over a. And when you solve this, okay, when you simplify this right hand side, you are going to have x plus b over 2a all square equals to b square minus 4ac over 4a square. So this is what we have after step 4. So we need to go and do step 5. Okay, so step 5 is for you to take square root of both sides so that you can be able to eliminate this, remove this thing here. So we say square root of both sides. So take square root of both sides. Okay, when you take square root of this part, you have square root of s plus b over 2a all square equals to square root of b square minus 4ac over 4a square. Okay, so when you take square root of both sides, this is what you have. Okay, now when you cancel out this square root and this square, you are going to have x plus b over 2a equals to, look at this, the denominator the denominator is a perfect square, so you can actually take the square root of the denominator, but numerator is not a perfect square, so you cannot be able to take the square root. And of course, whenever we take a square root of a number, if you take a square root of 4, you are going to have plus or minus 2 as your answer. So that is not exempted here. So when you take square root of 4a square, you are going to have plus or minus 2a. Okay? So that will give us plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac over what? 2a over 2a. So we are going to go this part of the board. So far so good. I hope you are copying down what you have so that when we start solving examples, you can be able to follow the steps and solve along. The next step to take is to solve for x. Okay, so this is our step 6, solve for x. So we have x plus b over 2a equals to plus or minus square root of b square minus 4a, 4ac. Okay, we omitted that before. 4ac all over 2a. So when you transfer this one over here, because this is our target, this is what we have to have only at the left hand side. So that will give you s equals to minus b over 2a plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac all over 2a. So you can see the two fractions appearing again. So that's the reason why we started our channel with LCM and fraction, HCF, algebraic fraction, because we see this often in a lot of topics in mathematics. So when you simplify these two fractions, you have that s equals to LCM is 2a. 2a divided by 2a will give you 1. 1 times minus b will give you minus b. Then you have your plus and minus. 2a divided by 2a will give you 1. 1 times the whole of this will give you square root of b square minus 4ac. So this is our what? Our formula, our quadratic formula. Okay, this is our quadratic formula. So like I said before, the method of completing the method of completing the square is what gives birth to what? The formula. Okay, formula is like using the end product of the completing the square method to solve, instead of going all through the process of step 1 to step 6, whereby the completing the square method simply means you are going to take each step at a time. Okay, you are going to take each step at a time. Now I believe you have copied this in your notes. Okay, because as we solve along, I wish that you will look at the step and notice each point that we are making use of the step while solving. Okay, so let's go and solve examples now. Okay, let's divide our board into two. So let's take example 1, or let's write example using the completing the square method to solve the following. So let's have our number 1. We are going to move from simple to complex. Okay, so I'm going to solve about 3 examples or more if time permits us. I'm trying to touch any kind of problem we can think of. Okay, so let's start with when the coefficient is 1. Coefficient of s square is 1. So number 1, s square plus, let's say, 12s plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, now we have our solution. First step, so I would like you to be looking at your notepad now, okay, where you have written down all the steps that is required to solve completing a quadratic equation using completing the square method. Step 1, if you notice in step 1, it says that you should transfer your constants, okay? So if we do that here, we have s squared plus 12x equals to minus 3. So this is our step 1. Very simple. Step two said that we should divide by the coefficient of s squared. Okay, the s squared, we should use it, the coefficient of s squared, we should use it to divide through. We are lucky here because the coefficient of s squared is 1. So when you divide this by one, this by one, this by one. I think this is what we are going to still have. Okay. So the next step now, which we are going to take, is step three. But step three, we need to add something. Okay. They ask us to add the square half of the coefficient of what? X. Okay, the coefficient of x. So we have to first of all go and get this thing that you need to add on both sides. That is 1 over 2. The coefficient of x here is what? 12. Then the square of it. That's what they say we should add on both sides to make this a perfect square. So this will give me this here one, this here will give me what? 6. So that will give me 6 square. So what I'm adding both sides is what? 6 square. What I'm adding both sides is 6 square. So let's add it both sides. That will give us s square plus 12s plus 6 square equals to 6 square minus 3. Okay, so we have added this on both sides of the equation. Okay, so with this now, this is a perfect square. Okay, so that's our step three. The next step is to factorize this and simplify this. Remember what I told you when I was giving you this step, that to factorize this part after you have added what will make it a perfect square is very simple. The variable, which is x, write it. What do you have inside this bracket? 6. Whether it's plus 6 or minus 6, you write with a sign. If it's minus 6, I'll write minus 6. If it's plus 6, like this one, is plus 6. So I'll put my plus 6 and enclose it with a bracket and put my square. That is the factorized form of this perfect square. Okay? So the next thing now is to simplify this. This 36 square, this 6 square, which will give us 36. 36 minus 3, that will give us what? 33. Okay, that will give us 33. Now the next step is you should take the square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. Why are we taking square root of both sides? Because I want to remove this square that is here. So when I take square root of both sides, okay, when I take square root of both sides, this square root will cancel out this square. That will give me s plus 6. Of course, when you take square root of a number, you have plus or minus square root of what? 33. Then the next thing is to solve for your x. So when you solve for your x, this one will transfer to this part, which will give you minus 6 plus or minus square root of 33. So you can see that simpler than the way we anticipated it to be. Okay, so what our x now? Our x is this plus or minus means that it's either plus or minus. So that will give you the two answers of your quadratic equation. So we are going to have minus 6 plus square root of 33, or s equals to minus 6 minus square root of 33. You can leave your answer in this form, or you can use your calculator and get the last what? The value. It's as simple as that. Let's take another example. So let's take a little bit complex number. Maybe when one of these number, okay, let's say when this one is negative, probably a fraction. Let's see what we are likely to have. And okay, let's first of all, okay, let's take this one a whole number. Let's have a number here and let this one be a negative number. So let's say 2s minus 7s plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, so let's solve this second type of question. Now, what makes this one different from this is that this one, our a is 1, so it help us to skip one step. That is where we are dividing by a, so we did not do it here, because when you divide by 1, you will get the same number. So we are having 2 now. Now we have here as plus, which gives us this one a positive number. Now we are going to have here as minus, which will give us our bracket to be what? A negative number. So let's all solve that one. Okay, so the first step, solution. Write your solution first, of course, very important. So the first step is to transfer your constants. Transfer your constants. Okay, so let us do that. So you have 2x squared. Oh, I omitted my s squared. So let me put that back. 2s squared minus 7s equals to minus 1. I have done the first step. I'm done with first step. Second step is that you should divide everything by the coefficient of s squared. So that will give us 2s squared over 2 minus 7s over 2 equals to minus 1 over 2. And this will cancel out this. This will give you s squared minus 7s over 2 equals to minus 1 over 2. So after carrying out our second step, this is what we have. Okay, so that will give us this equals to this. And the next step is that we should find what will make this one a perfect square. And is it difficult to find? No. The same thing that we have done here, that's what we are going to do. So let us do it here because I consider that to be in your rough paper. So that will give us 1 over 2 times minus 7 over 2 all square. So that will give us minus 7 over 4 all square. So this is what we need to add on both sides of this equation to make this right hand side, or sorry, to make this left hand side a what? A perfect square. As simple as that. So let us add. So that will give us s squared. Are we good? S squared minus 7s over 2. You add this, so plus minus 7 over 2 all square. So I have added it on the left hand side. So I also need to add it on the right hand side. Okay. So that will give us minus 7 over 2 all square minus 1 over 2. So we have done step 4. Oh, step 3. So the next thing to do is step 4. Step 4 is to factorize this and simplify this. Factorize this and simplify this. Okay, and to factorize this, like I said, is a very simple thing. Pick the variable. In this case, we have variable as what? S. Come back here and pick the number that is inside this bracket here. Okay, pick this number, which is minus 7 over 4, and put your square. Then we go and simplify this. When you simplify this, 7 minus 7 square will give us 49, and 2 square will give us 4 minus 1 over 2. So when you solve these two here, you will get LCM as 4. 4 divided by 4, 1. 1 times 4, 9 will give you 4, 9, minus 4 divided by 2, 2. 2 times 1 will give us what? 2. So I will have my s minus 7 over 4 all square equals to 47 over 4, because 49 minus 2 will give you what? 47. So the next step, this is where we are now. This is where we are here. This is where we are here. Okay, so the next step now is to take square root of both sides. We are likely to clean this part of the board, so I believe you have copied that. So we take square root of both sides. So when you take square root of both sides, square root of s minus 7 over 4 all square equals to square root of 47 over 4. Okay, so we are going to clean that part of the board so that we can be able to finish up that question. So you can see that this one is a little bit, you have more steps to take than this one. That's because the numbers there, the coefficient of s squared there is 1. So it's reduce our burden, okay, or reduce the number of steps that we have to take. So I'm going to clean that part of the board to finish up this question. Okay, so when you divide the square root with the square, so you are going to have x minus 7 over 4 equals to, the 4 here is a perfect square, so the square root of 4 here is 2, so the square root is not going to affect the 4. So I will have my square root of 47. Remember, when you take square root, you have plus and what? Minus all over 2. So the next thing to do is to solve for your s, which is the last step. So that will give us s equals to, this one comes over here, you have 7 over 4 plus or minus square root of 47 over 2. Okay, so the next thing now is to split this plus or minus, then simplify. That will give us that s equals to 7 over 4 plus square root of 47, okay, over 2, or s equals to 7 minus square root of 47, this one over 4, this one over 2. So take LCM here, that will give us 4. 4 divided by 4, 1 times 7, 7, plus 4 divided by this, 2, 2 times this, 2 square root of 47. Or, as take LCM, 4 divided by 4, 4 times, 4 divided by 4 is 1, 1 times 7, that will give us 7 minus 2. 2 times this will give us 2 square root of 47. So you use your calculator and get your last answer, or you can as well leave it in this form, depending what the teacher wants you to do. Okay, so that's our second question. Now, our third question that we are going to solve is going to have fraction, okay, is going to have fraction among the coefficients. Probably the x can have a fraction as its coefficient. Let's just see the kind of thing that we are going to do there, whether it's going to be far much different from what we have been doing, or whether it's going to still be the same thing that we have been doing. Okay, so I would like you to follow what we have been doing. If possible, you should write them down so that you take note of all the steps that we have been taking to solve using completing the square method. So our next example is going to be a number, a coefficient that have fraction. Okay, probably we'll put fraction here, or we'll have fraction here. Okay. Okay, so you can see the example that we have. So we put a fraction here, we have negative here, we put a fraction here. Though it might look more complex than the ones that we have been solving before, but I can tell you that it is not more difficult than what we have been doing. Okay, so it is not more difficult than what we have been doing. Okay, so it might give us a real number as a solution. It might still give us a complex number as a solution. I don't know yet, but we are going to solve it together. Whichever one that we have, the most important thing is for you to understand that despite the nature of the equation, so long as it's a quadratic equation, you can actually use your completing the square method to solve. So let's first start. So we have our solution here. Okay, so the first thing to do is, in completing the square method, is always taking away our constants and taking it to the other side of the equation. So that will give us 4x squared minus 7 over 2x equals to minus 1 over 2. Of course, you can see that when my plus move over, it change to what? Minus. So the next thing now is to find, oh, we need to divide. We need to divide by 4, okay, the equation of s squared. So when you do that, 4s squared over 4 minus 7 over 2s over 4 equals to minus 1 over 2 over 4. Okay, so you cancel out this. This will give you s squared. This one here, okay, will give you 7 over 8x. Okay, so you can make reference to our class on fraction, okay, how to divide a fraction. So that will give, this one will give you minus 1 over 8. So you can see that we are done with our second step. So the next step is to make this one here a perfect square. And how do we make it a perfect square? We find half of the coefficient of x, which is minus 7 over 8 all square. That will give us minus 7 over 16 all square. So this is what we are going to add on both sides of the equation to make it a perfect square. Okay, remember, as I always say, this should be in your rough paper. We don't need to see it. Okay, you can still show us of course, to prove that you know what you are doing. So you can still show us, but it's not necessary that you have to appear in your paper. So when you add this on both sides of the equation, it will make this left hand side to be a perfect square. So let us add that here. So that will give us x squared minus 7 over 8x plus minus 7 over 16 all square equals to, add it here also, minus 7 over 16 all square minus 1 over 8. Okay, remember this is not part of our work. Okay, so we have added it both sides of the equation. So we are confident now that this is a perfect square. So what do we do next? Factorize the left hand side and simplify the what? Right hand side. So let's do it this side of the board. So that will give us x, which is our variable. I will come back to this bracket here and pick it. That's what I have inside that bracket, and I will close them with my what? Square. So this left hand side is this, okay? Equal to, simplify this part, that will give me 49, 16 times 16. Oh, we can work that out here. 16 times 16, 6 times 6, 36. I have what? 3. This times this plus 3, 9, 6, 1. Okay, that will give us 6, 5, 2. So 2, 5, 6. So we have 2, 5, 6. Then you now have your minus 1 over 8. Okay, minus 1 over 8. We are not done simplifying. So that will give us x minus 7 over 16 all square equals to, take LCM. LCM of these two will give us 256. Okay, so 256 divided by 256 will give us 1. 1 times 49 will give us 49 minus, we need to divide this. So let's divide 256 over 8. 8 in 25 will give us 3. Okay, remember 1. So we'll put that 1 here. 8 here will give us what? 2. So 32 times 8 will give us what? 256. So this divided by this will give me 32. 32 times 1 will still give me 32. Okay, so I'm not done simplifying. So I have x minus 7 over 16 all square equal to 49 minus 32 will give me 17 over 256. Okay, so I'm done simplifying that. So the next thing I need to do is to take square root of both sides so that I can have my s. So when I take square root of x minus 7 over 16 all square equals to square root of 17 over 256. The square root and the square will go. I will have x minus 7 over 16 equal to, when you take square root, you have plus or minus. The square root of 17 will remain over the down part, which is 256. The square root of 256, I think that will give us 16. Okay, so I have 16 here. So what's the next thing is to solve for x. So x will give me, this one cross over here, 7 over 16 plus or minus square root of 17 over 16. So that will give us 7 plus or minus square root of 17 over 16. So you can now solve for your s, which will give you 7 plus square root of 17 over 16, or s equals to 7 minus square root of 17 over 16. So you can leave your answer in this form, or you can leave it in decimal form, depending what the teacher requires from you. So we have seen this type that is still the same process, the same step, though there's still a lot of calculation that we did here than we did here in the other question. Okay, so we are going moving to the last question that we are going to have. Okay, last question that we are going to have Last question that we are going to have, which might not look exactly like this, but we still carry out the same process in solving our problem. So, like I said before, we are going to solve a problem that look as if is not actually quadratic equation, but they will tell you to use completing the square method to solve. The truth is that when you simplify the algebraic fraction here, you are going to get a quadratic equation. Okay, so of course, like I said before, if you don't know how to do your algebraic fraction, we have videos that you can use to learn how to take care of algebraic fraction of this nature and simplify. Okay, so let's work on this. So the first thing we are going to do here is to take LCM of the left hand side. So let's have our solution. LCM of the left hand side is x into 1 minus x. Okay, so x into 1 minus x is the LCM of this and this. So use it to simplify this. This divided by this will give me this one. This one times this will have it as 1 minus s into 1 minus s, plus this divided by this will give me x here. X times this will give me plus x squared. Okay, then equal to 5 over 2. So we need to simplify this numerator. If possible, simplify the denominator, then we now cross and multiply, then we can now have our quadratic equation. So let's open this bracket. That will give us this times this 1. 1 times minus s will give you minus s. Minus s times 1 will give another minus s. Minus s times minus s will give me plus s squared. Okay? Plus s squared all over. Open this bracket also. So that will give you x minus x squared equals to 5 over 2. Remember, we are not done with the numerator. So let's take care of the numerator there. That will give us 1 minus s will give me minus 2x. S plus s square plus s square will give me plus 2s square all over x minus s square. That will give me equal to 5 over 2. So the next thing I will do there is to cross and what? Multiply. So this one will cross over here and multiply by 5. Y2 will cross over here and multiply by all this. So that will give us 2 into 1 minus 2x plus 2s squared equal to 5 into this, 5 into s minus s squared. Okay, so we need to open the bracket, then pack everything one part of the equation and have 0 on the other side of the equation. So let's open this. That will give us 2 minus, that's 2 times 1, 2. 2 times minus 2s will give me minus 4s. 2 times plus 2s squared will give me plus 4s squared equal to the right hand side. 5 times s will give me 5x. 5 times minus s squared will give me 5 minus s squared. Okay, so we are going to bring everything here to this part of the equation. So that will give us 2 minus 4s plus 4s squared. This one cross over minus 5s. This one cross over minus 5s squared equal to 0. Of course, you can see that our quadratic equation is coming out. Now, there are like terms. Oh, there's a mistake here. This plus cross over to become minus, but this one here is minus. When it crosses over, we should have what? Plus. Okay, so collect like terms. 4s squared and the 5s squared are like terms and they are both positive positive, so that will give us, oh, let's put our equal to, so that will give us this, and this will give us 9s squared. Okay, so we have taken care of this and this. Okay, so the next thing to take care of is 4s and minus 5s. That will give us minus 9x. Then we now have our constant, which is plus 2 equals to 0. So you can see that we have gotten our quadratic equation. Okay, so the next thing now is to solve this using completing the square method. I hope we are good. I hope you are following. So let's start with our step 1. That will give us 9s squared minus 9s equals to minus 2. Okay, the next thing is to divide through by 9. So that will give us 9s squared over 9 minus 9x over 9 equals to minus 2 over 9. This and this will go, this and this will go. I will have s squared minus s equals to minus 2 over 9. So we are done with step 2. Step 3 is for us to find what we need to add to this to make it a perfect square. Okay, so let's do that here. 1 over 2 times the coefficient of s here is minus 1. Okay, so minus 1 all squared. That will give us minus 1 over 2 all squared. So that is what we are going to add on both sides of the equation to make the left hand side a perfect square. So let us do that. Okay, so I have s squared minus x, add this, plus minus 1 over 2 all squared equals to, add it on the right hand side, minus 1 over 2 all squared minus 2 over 9. So factorize the left hand side, simplify the right hand side. So let's factorize this like we have been doing. Pick your variable, come here and pick what is here, which is minus 1 over 2, enclose with a bracket and put your square. So this is the shortest way of factorizing a perfect square when you have already known what you added to make it a perfect square. So this will give us 1 over 4 minus 2 over 9. So what we need to do next is, we are not done simplifying, so we need to finish up simplifying. So that will give us x minus 1 over 2 all square equals to LCM of 9 and 4 will give us 36. Okay, so 36 divided by 4 will give us 9. 9 times 1 will give us 9. 36 divided by 9 will give us 4. 4 times 2 will give us 8. So I have x minus 1 over 2 all squared equal to 1 over 36. So this is what we have after our step 4. So we need to move to step 5 now, so that we can be able to take square root of both sides and now solve for x. So when you take square root of both sides, you have square root of x minus 1 over 2 square equal to square root of 1 over 36. Square root here will cancel the square here. I have x minus 1 over 2 equals to, when you take square root of this, plus or minus, square root of 1 will give you 1, square root of 36 will give you 6. So you solve for x equals to, this one cross over here, 1 over 2 plus or minus 1 over 6. So that will give us that s equals to 1 over 2 plus 1 over 6, or s equals to 1 over 2 minus 1 over 6. So you simplify these fractions and get your value. So s equals to LCM here is 6. 6 divided by this is 3. 3 times this is 3. Plus 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. Or s equals to LCM 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Minus 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So s equals to, these two here will give you 4 over 6, or s equals to, these two here is 2 over 6. So this one will give us that s equals to 2 over 3, or s equals to 1 over 3. So that's when you divide 2 here, 2, 2 here, 3, 2 here, 1, 2 here, 3. So this is where we're going to end our video on using the completing the square method in solving quadratic equation. What did we learn here? We learned that completing the square method is what actually gave us formula method, okay? What the quadratic formula. So in our next video, we are going to use uh, formula to solve some of the examples. Okay, so you will see how you can use your quadratic formula in solving quadratic equations. Okay, do well to like our video, share our video, and subscribe our channel. Okay, subscribe to our channel so that you can support us. That's the way you can support us. Okay, thank you very much and see you in the next video.